Die. So, in this episode we're going to be preparing to take on the final challenge of the Vanilla Tower, floor 40. So, first off I'm going to show what happens if you fail. This is actually a practice strategy. So if you want to get acquainted to the fight, but I'm not sure if you are going to be able to take on the challenge. Let's say you watch a couple of YouTube videos showing off how the fight goes, but you want to practice it. What I recommend is taking a fighter which is equipped with only premium decals, like this one. Go into the fight with very disposable gear. It has to be strong enough, though. You can't go in there with weak gear. Wear tier 3 gear that didn't cost too much. So don't wear Forceman gear, don't wear Forceman weapons or armor. Just go in there with 3-star gear. Maybe each piece will cost you 10k. So a full set of 3-star gear, I'm not wearing that because yeah, I'm not properly prepared. But a full set of 3-star armor, when I say 3-star armor, tier 3 armor, a full set of tier 3 armor, your main killing weapon, maybe a couple of healing shrooms, bring those things with you, and a full set of premium decals, whatever premium decals you can equip that are going to be kind of useful in the fight. Use that, go into the fight, and if you do die, your fighter will be they'll be hater-fied on floor 39 Nagasaki. So if you lose the fight, you won't have to buy back your fighter because they won't be equipping anything that important. See where I'm getting at? That's the main issue with dying to the floor 40 fight. You can't really get in any practice if you're on a fighter equipped with very important items that you want to maintain. And you will have to pay a fee of 250,000 to recover them on this level. Or at least I think it's that much, unless they've nerfed it. Well, it used to be 250,000 you have to pay for dying on floor 40 to recover your fighter. Of course, if you don't recover your fighter by buying back, you will only lose the value of the weapons and armor and shrooms that they had on them, because that'll disappear after you go and defeat your hater.
I had no idea you'd make it this far. Are you some kind of a pro gamer? Much respect. Word up, buddy. You're coming up on your final challenge. Apparently, you can't equip anything from this point forward. I'll hold on to your items for you in the meantime. Go on. Don't be shy. Come on. Take off your equipment.
So, I'll be skipping the cutscene because we'll be watching it in full when we actually take on the fight in the next episode. Oh wait, did I choose the wrong answer?
Take off your equipment now?
Right. Actually, I meant to say yes. Oh, here we go. We can already skip from this point onward. Here we go. So the fight starts when we press the button. I'm not going to explain the fight yet. I'll explain it later. Off we go. Skippy, skippy, skip. There with you, the melee guy. The next enemy will be wearing our weapon, I believe. Yeah, we're not properly prepared for this. We don't have rage and don't have the right setup. Yeah, let's fight over here. No? Oh, how rude. I'm just having fun with this guy. Oh wait, get out there. Oh nice, perfect guard. Ah, living on the edge, you. Yeah, take him out. Now we go up against a hater with our weapon equipped. And we die, unfortunately.
Your death was totally gruesome.
I'm not going to pay a death metal because there's no point. Just wanting to show off things that you find expendable. You can bring half meat portions for your practice runs, tier 3 armor and weapon, maybe a couple of easy to find like attack or defense increasing shrooms. Nothing rare. Don't bring anything rare for like if you want to practice the fight. Premium decals, all premium, so when you go and defeat your fighter to get them back, you won't have to regret losing all of your non-premium decals. So as you can see, 250,000 kill coin recovery costs, and their hater fight on floor 39 Haratsuka apparently. So it's not the other floor. I guess it might be a bit random. So we get on Matthew the Striker. Okay, let's have a look now. Where are you? There it is. So on Haratsuka, our fighter lies hater fight, but we can easily just go and retrieve them via kill because they're wearing all premium decals which won't be removed on kill, and they don't have too much valuable items on them. Compared to this fighter, it's a completely different story. We have Forceman gear. 3 pieces of Horseman gear equates to about 600,000 kill coins, way beyond the recovery costs of getting the fighter back. It's really just one strategy of going back to practice runs and recovering your fighter through kill instead of spending the kill coins to recover. You can also spend the kill coins for recovery if you are really going for and completely prepared and invested in the run and you feel like you're ready for it. And I don't know, maybe you watched a couple of kill videos and you've got it pretty much down, but honestly it's not too difficult of a fight. The main problem that people run into is that their gear, specifically their armor, isn't upgraded to a high enough level for them to sustain any kind of hits from the boss. They're not prepared in terms of recovery items bringing to the fight. They don't have healing, they don't have damage increasing, they don't have like rare, slow, invisible or invincible mushrooms on them. The old strategy used to be to spam invincible mushrooms and yellow sting shrooms and stack them up until you had a buff that would last for more than 5 minutes, and you'd basically go into the fight with invincibility and like a hyper mode active, 140% extra damage and invincible for god knows. Yeah, you could keep like a stack of 30 or 40 guard shroom and original sting shroom in your storage and just consume all of them before you go to the floor 40 challenge and take them on then. And yeah, any buffs you apply in the waiting room will remain while you're, you know, taking the elevator up to the tower. I think buffs that you have in the tower while returning to the waiting room might be removed. Not 100% sure on that one. Kind of a niche situation. Anyway, I've got a couple of gears here, a couple of bits of armor here. I want to test just how effective my recommended tier 3 armor is against the final challenge. So another thing I'd recommend is to have a proper class to fight with. Use whatever you've been using that has been getting the most amount of damage for you. For me that would be a striker, because I'm going with melee and they have a really decent strength level. This one's got 180 strength. And of course he'll be using physical weapons because he's a striker. If you want to use ranged weapons, you'll want to be a shooter class. I don't know if I could recommend attacker, which is like the glass cannon, both good at melee as ranged fighter class. They seem to have very low vitality and health vitality, which dictates how much defense you've got, and health, how big your health pool is. I'm trying to think if is there any other points of preparation you can make in advance. Well, white steel is very accessible pretty early on, and if you use the Dragon Buster sword rage move counter strategy to take him on, you can kill him with a fairly unupgraded weapon, all things considered. And obtaining white steel items might make the final boss really easy. This is something I want to look into. There's a reason I've only got the Spike Crusher, the hat, and the legs here, because if you only are able to defeat hard mode white steel, you wouldn't have access to the static massager range from white steel. So I haven't got them here because I won't be using them. I'll be using a regular other kind of chest armor instead. Though if you have the chests, which I do, it is also well, it's a serious boon for the fight because it has the most defense value. I don't know how much it's got. I'll have to check. What's the white steel chest armor? 2,800 defense. That is a serious chunk of defense right there. I've got some tier 4 upgraded items. I've got, not tier 4, tier 3. Murderer's Hockey Body tier 3 is 2,115 defense versus 2,800 white steel. I guess I've already got the white steel to +1. Don't know exactly where it starts off at, like maybe 2,700. Anyway, really strong is the case. The Knight ZX. What else do I have? Yeah, the Murderer Hockey Body, the Murderer Hockey Legs, the Hockey Hats, and the White Steel Hat. 735 defense versus 504 defense. Yeah, the White Steel, when it released, was really overpowered. It was considered extremely overpowered. People were like, how can this stuff be this strong right off the bat? But it was. Yeah. Quite an impressive reward, actually, when White Steel released. Really cool stuff. Tough challenge. Tier 4 gear wasn't really available yet at the time, so you had to take them on in Tier 3, and really cool challenge, really strong gear as reward. And nowadays, it's with the knowledge to do so, and you know, I've got those previous videos in this Let's Play showing off getting ready for White Steel and taking on White Steel. So yeah, you can easily follow the Let's Play as a guide and take on White Steel before you even challenge the Taro Gunkanyama. So then, f40 Taro on Futage. Just thinking. So, as usual, there's a couple of things you'll want. You'll want attack increasing shroom, healing shroom, and or barb meat or beast, golden beasts. All golden beasts are full healing in Let It Die. So on golden beast days, you can go and farm golden stales. You can go and farm golden stales over and over again for economic way of getting full heals. You know, if you are loaded with kill coins, or if you are a TDM enthusiast, you can spend your earnings by buying infinite full portions at the hernia machine. Barb meat half or full portion. Full portion always restores 50% of your health. Full barb meat portion restores all of your health, just like a golden beast. It depends. If you've got the kill coins to spare, you can buy many barb meat full portion, or you can go and collect golden snails and use those as a healing item. I'm using a mix of just a bit of everything here. Also, grilled live shroom. Eating during fights is always difficult, so you'll have to find a decent opening to be able to do so. Often it means having to take a hit just after you've consumed something, unless you've got, like, what is it called, Food Fighter decal, which lets you eat faster. I think it's called Food Fighter. Let's see. Yeah, so besides attack and healing, you could take defense with you, but like it's kind of a bad omen. You know, you're using an attack shroom. I don't know, I guess it's optimism versus pessimism. Using a defense shroom, you're for 40 seconds safer to take damage, while using an attack shroom for 40 seconds you're dealing more damage, so it's more of an incentive to go in there and get some work done versus actually turtling and getting hit a bunch of times. So I tend not to use the defense shrooms very much. I don't even know what they're called. Tough shroom, I guess. Yeah, I don't use the tough shroom very much. I prefer to use an attack shroom and bolster it with a strong utility shroom in the form of invisibility, invulnerability, and slow motion. If you're using a weaker form of invisible or slow motion, like the cat eye or the umbrella rib, bear in mind you'll be losing health while the effect lasts, so it might be smart to combine with the golden vampire fungus or regular vampire fungus. You can farm that off of crabs. It used to be I knew a good floor to farm crabs, but now I'm not 100% sure anymore. You find them sometimes on floor 11 in the sandbox. That's an okay place to go and look for crabs. Yeah, it used to be like the first floor of Candlewolf, floor 21, or was it 27? I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, they nerfed that crab farming spot that I had. I got a video on my channel farming crabs, and no longer relevant because they've replaced those crabs with, well, the optional froggy spawn instead. It used to be guaranteed crabs. It was just crab every time, but now nope, been replaced by frogs. The grilled cat eye. Now the thing about this fight also is you will not be able to buff before the fight, because the first few phases you're not going up against Taro himself. So if you're using any kind of buffing shrooms, you'd have to consume many to last through all of the phases and then still be able to use those shrooms versus Taro. So anything except for lasting buffs, like the life shroom, the grilled life shroom buff, yeah, any like short-term buffs you'll want to be using during the battle, and you'll leave them to the last phase, because, you know, obviously the first few phases they'll take away all of your items and you won't have access to them. So yeah, I've got some time left. Short episode? Don't know. Maybe I'll combine this with yeah, I'll make this a longer episode, and I'll go and do the fights. The decals I chose, honestly, use your best. If you're using the practice strategy, go for all premium, so you can go and take them on over and over again, recovering your fighter via killing your own hater fighter to retrieve them. Don't have just one strong fighter. That's never a good thing. Always have at least two main fighters, so if you do die to Taro and you don't have the funds to get your fighter back, you're not completely screwed, because yeah, that might be an issue. If you've only got one good fighter and you die up there, then well, what are you gonna do? It's kind of a noob mistake though. We have got 3 main fighters, 1 striker and 2 collectors. Yeah, the decals. Use as good decals as you've got. Here's some useful options. Anything that reduces stamina loss for, well, Silver Heart increases the maximum stamina, so that's just an all-round decent one for combat. Sprinter allows us to run around without using as much stamina as usual. Attack increasers are useful. The defense increase enthusiasts are useful. I've equipped a premium here, but if you don't have premium, you can also just purchase this one. I'm trying to use decals that everyone has access to for this fight, so I'm not using my, legendary heroes and that other bullshit. Living on the edge can be useful during this fight, because in one of the earlier phases you go in the fight naked and have to fight your own weapon. I believe the weapon they use against you is your main hand weapon, which I think is the right weapon, the one I'm swinging right now. Usually I go... it's actually not that simple of a fight. You have to take into account the weapon you use on Tarot has to be a weapon that you're comfortable dodging, or you're comfortable going up against as well. Because there's some weapons that are really tough to dodge, and you have to be able to survive against your own weapon while naked. I almost forgot one of the more important points to this fight in preparation, and I'm glad I didn't forget completely, because that would suck if I'd forgotten that. You need rage. You need at least 1 point of rage. You can take out the first naked hater just one-on-one melee fighting, but the next one, the easiest way to get rid of them, the easiest way to take care of them, is to rage punch them out of the arena. And if you don't have rage, it's gonna be basically impossible. To be honest, it's gonna be basically impossible, because the weapon they'll have equipped is gonna be your main damage dealing weapon, which will be pretty strong. So it will have the very real potential to one-shot you, and it looks like I don't have a lot of rage going on here, so that's gonna be annoying. Yeah, let's see. So got the mushroom, gonna grill that quickly. Here we go. And actually, before I carry on between episodes, well, between this part and the next, I'll probably just link them together and make it one episode. I'm gonna go farm some mice, some mushroom. I'll do that on floor 2. Imokawacho is a really good floor for farming rats. It's a short floor, there's a couple of beasts there, and it's usually rats that show up there. Annoying that I have to go do that, but it's, yeah. Can't waste people's time because of my, unpreparedness and slacking. Remember, also, you've got a lot of backspace. Use it. Use the backspace you have available to you. It looks a bit cluttered here. I mean, I could store it. I've got more stuff on me that I have to. I just want to show off a couple of things. Yeah, if you're going on a serious attack, what your bags would probably look like is one weapon, probably like 2 or 3 attack increasing shrooms, 2 or 3 utility shrooms like grilled cat eye, maybe even more, like 3 or 4 or 5 utility shrooms like cat eye or umbrella rib, or like original slow or invisible, which last longer and don't take away your health. Very good if you have those. And the rest should be recovery shrooms. Like the grilled life shroom is just taking up space now that it shouldn't. I'm not eating it because I don't want to waste it, but you can consume that like here, and the buff will last forever. So, well, until you use it or die. And the rest can be healing. You could run with like 5 or 6 bob meat, half portion. You might have to take into account that it might be easier to just have a golden vampire fungus or an actual vampire fungus, and you can make use of it. It's annoying that you'd have to do that, but you can eat like a grilled cat eye, and then straight away eat a golden vampire. You'll lose a few seconds of slow, but it's yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've taken on the floor 40 boss before using nerfed strong shrooms, so I wonder if they are as effective as I think they're going to be. Well, I've got Vampire as well. That should offer a little bit of recovery. I should mention in closing, or at least for this part, don't use ever superheroes. You'd think they'd be good, but they're not. The amount of damage you take is sufficient to make sure that you're never going to recover to full health during the course of the battle, and therefore you're going to just lose the effectiveness of the superhero decals for the rest of the fight. Sure, you might be able to recover to full health shortly by consuming one of your heal items, but the next hit you take will take a sufficient chunk of health away, maybe not a lot, maybe not even half, but enough to put you in a state where you're probably not going to get full health realistically to make use of those decals. So let's just got to put that out there, that what's it called, superhero specifically is not a really good attack strategy for the boss, and I think Bull is too risky because of the 250k cost of recovery to go in there with a Bull. See ya later.